Meet Judge Olu A. Stevens, a circuit court judge in Louisville, Kentucky, via Morehouse State College in Atlanta and George Washington Law School. Judge Stevens doesn't like racism. He doesn't like racists, especially when they're 3-year-old children who are the victims of armed home invasion robbers. Hi, this is Colin Flaherty, author of Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. Here we talk about the greatest lie of this generation, the myth of black victimization. So let's head down to Louisville. The judge is about to sentence 2 guys for a home invasion robbery in Louisville. They used a gun. They broke into a home while the 3-year-old kid is watching SpongeBob SquarePants. But in their victim statement, the judge didn't like what they said. So instead of sending the home invasion robbers with a gun to prison, he gave them probation because he thought they could redeem themselves, especially in light of the fact of what he cited as how offended he was by the racial comments the victims made in their victims' statements. So all of a sudden, the victims became the predators, and the predators became the victims. Let's give a listen.
There's a victim impact statement here that bothers me, to be honest with you.
Yes, sir.
It really troubles me. And I just have to read it in paragraph 6. I assume the victims in this case are white?
Yes.
All right. It troubles me greatly that this statement says, this incident has had the most impact on my daughter. She's in constant fear of black men. When out running errands, if we come across a black male, she holds me tight and begs me to leave. It has affected her relationships at school and relationship with our African American friends. Really? You don't have to answer for it, but I want to make that part of the record. I'm offended by that. I'm deeply offended by that. That they would be victimized by an individual and then express some kind of fear of all black men. I wonder if the perpetrator had been white, would they be in fear of white men? The answer would probably be no. I'm offended by that. It's not going to affect what happens here, but I want to make it part of the record, and perhaps you pass this on. I find this very offensive.
And certainly I understand the court's outrage there. Well, I mean, I guess I really don't, but...
Well, you understand.
I understand where you're coming from, Your Honor.
I understand exactly where I'm coming from.
Here's why we object to probation, Judge. But what we're really talking about here is that probation would unduly depreciate the seriousness of what happened. This was a home invasion. The victims were a husband, a wife, and a 3-year-old little girl.
And make no mistake about it, I've voiced some outrage about a statement, a portion of that statement. But I'm also outraged that anyone would go into anyone else's home and commit a violent offense like this. That's outrageous also. This little girl has certainly been victimized, and she can't help the way that she feels. My exception is more with her parents, and they're accepting of that kind of mentality and that fostering of that, those kind of stereotypes. And I'm going to grant your motion today for probation. I know the combo's position. And in here, most times, I can't say for sure. I got to look at everything. But you commit an offense like this with a handgun, I'm going to send you to prison more times than not. I think the equities weigh in favor of you having an opportunity to redeem yourself.
As far as me being an African-American female in Indiana, we do a lot of things that do not have practical application for a lot of people. And I just think that when we're in this bubble, we do not see how it affects other people. I have told Representative McMillan I love his little son, but he's scared of me because of my color. And that's horrible. It's true. And that's, and that's something that we are going to work on. We've talked about it and we're going to work on it. I ask him, please, introduce your child to some people of color so that he won't live his life as a prejudiced person.
Now, the stuff that Judge Olu Stevens said in his court is still only my second favorite thing that a judge has ever said about racism and racial violence. My absolute favorite comes from a Philadelphia family court judge by the name of Wayne Bennett. It was, I think, in 2013. Wayne Bennett was writing an article in his blog. The blog is called The Field Negro. And he was writing about a column Thomas Sowell wrote about my book, White Girl Bleed a Lot. So Wayne Bennett says, listen, Sowell and Flaherty, I'm paraphrasing, want to know why there's all this black mob violence, black on white crime? I will tell you why. It's because white people deserve it. That's a family court judge in Philadelphia. And so the point of talking about these judges is not that they're outliers, not that we want to play gotcha, but almost the opposite, is that this kind of racial hostility is now so mainstream it can be expressed casually by judges and by state legislators even when they're performing their official duties. So let's have one last bit of truth to end this video on. Violent crime in Louisville is a black thing. Violent crime in Indianapolis is a black thing. Violent crime in Philadelphia, of course, that's a black thing. They don't even deny that anymore. They just get angry when anybody points it out. We're going to point it out. We're going to point it out as long as black people and their enablers in the press keep insisting that black people are relentless victims of relentless white racism all the time. That explains everything. This is Colin Flaherty with Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. Talk to you next time.